Mr. MaximusBlack. Hit me up with the sound of attempting to climb out of silver in Heroes of the Storm.
Yo, guys, just push bottom. The fucking keep is down. No, bro, what the fuck? No, fuck, fucking Christ, son of a bitch. Learn how to play, Jesus, fuck.
Can I interrupt for a second and kind of switch this up too? But Adam, can you hit us up with the same noise?
Sure. Guys, top and bottom are pushing. We have every camp on the map. We can win. We're 2 levels up. We're talent up. It's fine. Just go. No, not the fuck. Don't do the fucking boss. It's not time to do the boss. You
get the boss. You gotta get the boss.
No,
get the
stop.
Boss.
No, you're throwing. Oh, you fuck.
Oh,
fuck
why
you.
the fuck didn't you come here? You fucking threw. God damn it. You should have came with the team. We fucking called. Boss. You suck. Reported.
Every time.
All right, so
I haven't even looked at the questions.
You're gonna do Panic's one right now, right?
Yes, yeah. So if you haven't picked one, what the ever-loving fuck?
Oh, that's not done
my!
yet. Oh.
It's not done.
There we go.
What is this? This is a novella. This isn't an actual question.
This is DLC. This is DLC.
This is a separate podcast. All right, hold on. All right, I'm a read. Hold on, I gotta change the patch notes real quick and prepare myself for this reading.
It's like your movie voiceover.
Oh my, that's not gonna happen.
Lead you in.
All right, here we go. All right, I'm gonna try to read this and not crick my neck.
This question is brought to you by Demi Zenith, one of our $10 supporters. Thank you very much, Demi. You're going to now get the Adam Morehouse rendition of your question. Give it full justice. Begin.
I need several breaths. This is a lengthy one.
That's what she said. Literally.
It's 2025. Adam, Jeff, and Tabin have just finished streaming the latest Technical Alpha podcast from their studio in Halifax. If only we had a studio, this would be so much better and so much easier.
It's 2025.
Tabin doesn't fly out until tomorrow, so the 3 guys decide to sit back and hang out for a while. The studio is fully furnished with living and dining areas, a kitchenette, and a bathroom, so it's actually a nice place to hang out even when they're not using it for professional recording. Suddenly, the zombie apocalypse occurs!
Oh my god!
Though the studio's TV and radio equipment, the technical alpha team quickly learn what is happening worldwide and immediately set to barricade themselves in the studio. They take a quick inventory and note that they have enough food for a couple of weeks, if rationed, and a good variety of tools and sports equipment that they had filmed an embarrassing sports DLC for the podcast the previous week to use as weapons. Thankfully, Tabin has this weird habit of bringing 3 sleeping bags with him when he travels up north these days, and between the couches and a random futon mattress that Jeff is storing here, there is a place for everyone to sleep. The studio is able to generate enough power to self-sustain even during winter thanks to modern solar power technology. The last thing they hear from the radio before the transmission is cut is that help is coming, but it could take months.
Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. In order to effectively manage their survival, the trio have decided to split themselves into 3 primary roles. One is to be in charge of supplies, responsible for managing, rationing, and preparing food and equipment. One is in charge of defense, and is ensuring the studio is always adequately fortified. One is to be in charge of communications and recon, responsible for planning scouting and supply runs, noting down important intel, and making contact with anyone who may be able to help them. When they venture outside, they do it together, and try to spend as little time as possible doing so. Who do you think would be best suited for each role, and why? Holy fuck.
Well, we could have
Can I have a
literally
nap
got
now?
rid of the first 2 paragraphs and just read the last one. And we would have had the same question. But I
That's
do
a
like it.
lead
A
up.
very, very creative question there, Demi. Very creative. I like it. Using some imagination, setting the tone. I feel like we need some like background music of some eerie
Zombie
we can do it in
apocalypse
post.
shit.
Who would be do we all have to answer this, or we're just kind of
guess
like,
we-
I think
guess we
Let's
all
just team it
could-
up.
Team
yeah,
it up.
like we'd
Let's
have
team this
to we'd
question.
have to together we'd have to figure this out
We'd
as a
have to
team. So
decide.
we may as well figure this out
Guys,
as a team.
I hate to let
I
you know
think-
this, but the zombie apocalypse is happening, and we need to sort
Oh,
out
God.
who's doing what.
Panic is definitely going to be the guy that is rationing and preparing food and equipment. Without a doubt.
I think that's accurate.
I think I'm going to be the dude that's going to be preparing weapons and planning defense and strategies. And I think Adam is going to be the dude that is going to be on communication and planning and scouting and doing supply
Are we
runs.
actually gonna
and-
send Adam
and
out to
doing the
scout,
logistical
though?
stuff.
Is his body
look,
going
I'm
to
the
be in
tallest-
shape in 2025 to be able to handle
I
this?
am the tallest person of all of us. I can just stand in one place and do 90% more work than both of you. So it's
You're
it's
just
all
gonna
good.
spin around like a lighthouse.
I'm gonna be just like a lighthouse or satellite. This is gonna be me on the roof, like,
Yeah,
And that's gonna be the whole
That's
show.
what I think. I think those are the roles.
I would agree with that. I agree with that.
I think I can go. I can get on board with that. I can get on
Yeah,
board
I
with
mean,
that.
I'm not gonna be the guy that's gonna ration food and shit. Like, I just don't have
No.
patience for that. As for like planning and scouting and stuff, I'm just not very good with directions. I'm not very good at writing things down, and shit. But I think I would be very good at dealing with defenses, just making sure everything is secure, having the weapons ready, planning the attacks, just getting ready to defend.
So
Make sure
as
the
that was a
shelves don't
really,
break.
yes, exactly. And since that was a pretty easy one to answer, let's follow it up with what is everybody's zombie apocalypse weapon of choice?
right there. My
Lightsabers
shield.
don't count.
No,
Oh, the shield.
no, not the
okay.
lightsaber.
That's,
The shield.
that's your weapon is a replica Harulian shield, really?
That's an actual shield, bro. Like that is an actual shield.
Yeah,
like
but you're gonna
it's
use
fully
a shield
plated
if you
and
had to
it's fully
choose
metal.
any weapon. You're gonna grab
Any
a fucking
weapon,
shield.
you're going to use the Hylian
Oh.
shield.
If I can have any weapon, yeah, it'll probably be a flamethrower or something.
A flamethrower. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like
see
a
you're picking
flamethrower
the-
eventually is going to kill yourself, or you're just gonna accidentally burn shit that you shouldn't have burned.
I'm more concerned about the fact that I'm using fuel I could be using for a car versus
Yeah.
powering my flamethrower. I feel like that's
You guys are going
a
practical,
dangerous
man.
bet.
I was going practical.
I
I think
think-
it'd be like a cricket bat or something.
Yeah, I
Then you're
think
gonna
you
run
just.
out
I
of
think.
ammo.
How are you supposed to
What else
pass
you can
up
do?
on a machete? Just a machete, all-purpose
Yeah.
item and weapon. Give me a machete, a big ass.
I'm-
you know.
I'm probably around the same, but I'll be different just to be different. I'm gonna say a samurai sword, like a very very sharp sword, because cutting limbs off and cutting things, just and you also don't have to reload anything. You'll have to sharpen it, but you don't. You'll run out of bullets with a gun. You'll run out of gas with a flamethrower. A machete does seem good. A machete is more practical because it's smaller. You can move around faster. It doesn't take as much to swing it. But I'd probably go with the sword just for distance and how sharp it is, just slicing shit up. I'd be like that chick from The Walking Dead.
Yeah. Taking old bitches with a samurai sword.
Yeah, that's
Someone
what
in
I
chat
would do.
just said nunchucks.
Nunchucks. What an incredibly useless friggin' weapon for the zombie apocalypse. Oh my god, that'd be terrible. All right, so that was an elaborate question, Mr. Black. What do you got? You got a shorter question?
Yeah. There's actually not that many
too many
questions
this week.
today.
Mm.
A lot of the pineapple question that we've already answered before. I'm gonna go with. Ooh, man, I do kind of like this question. I like two of them. Oh, shit.
Maybe we answer 3 if it's not a long question. So
Okay.
you can pick one and you
all
can
right.
say
Well,
what's
okay. I'm gonna go with Stucka87.
up. Okay.
Who is a $10 supporter, and I do believe our
also a
timestamp dude.
Timestamper. Yeah.
He is the
said-
timestamp lord.
He said, if you could choose one console to game on for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Oh God. Oh.
That's a good question, and that's a tough one to answer.
SNES.
And this is assuming, of course, it never breaks and the controllers are always fine.
Yes.
We're not going to be
Yes,
like, we're
yes.
okay.
Yeah, we're not going to be like,
So
oh, well,
really-
you know, that one, yeah.
It's about the library of games you have available to you, basically, at that point. Oh,
Well,
that's
I mean, you know, if you pick the PS2, which I'm thinking you're probably going to pick, yeah, there's like 2,600 titles on the PS2, but 2,500 of them are pretty bad.
well, obviously, but I don't mean in terms of sheer volume. I just mean it's whatever one, like whatever ones you'd want to play the most of or have games that you'd
Yeah.
be most interested in, right?
It'd be like PS2 or SNES for me. Like, I just have so many awesome memories on the
Yeah.
SNES, and there's so many just, like, timeless games on the older platforms.
Yeah, PC doesn't count. PC does not count.
No, it's not a console.
We're talking console gaming.
Mark said
here.
the Switch.
That's true.
Play the same 3 games over and over again.
You know what?
Um,
Oh my god, I can't believe I'm gonna say this. I really want to go with the Super Nintendo, but even though that is my favorite console of all time, just because of a few titles, though, it's not because it had an insane library of. Oh, it did have an insane library of great titles, but I'm gonna go ahead and say the PlayStation 2. I'm gonna go with the PlayStation 2.
Very good system.
I was gonna say the
You
PS1
get backwards
too.
compatibility. Now,
God.
do we have to? Are we allowed to choose one just because it has backwards compatibility? But do we only get to play the PS2 games?
You know, I'm gonna cheat. I was gonna go with the PS2 anyway, but now that you're bringing up the backwards compatibility, there's so many good PS1 games.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna go with the PS2 just because I don't give a shit about the PS3. Even though you can do the backwards compatible one, but
Barely.
I'm gonna go. Yeah, barely is right. I'm gonna go PS2, and it's only because there are so many JRPGs on the PS2 that
Play for
would
years.
that you could just it's like an endless amount of playing. I feel like the Super Nintendo would be fun. Also, the carts would virtually last forever. Discs do scratch and they do deteriorate over time.
Well, yeah, like we said, we're not talking about.
But we're not getting that
Staying
technical.
power.
So yeah, so I'm gonna go with the PS2.
I was gonna say PS2 as well. I mean, it's like it's the easiest choice. You get PS2, you get PS1. It's a massive catalog of games, a lot of long games that have a good chunk of replayability. The controllers aren't the
accessories,
old
good
school
quality.
controllers that basically destroy your hands after 5 minutes of play. It's just I think the PS2 is the great. That's why when we talked about greatest console of all time, the PS2 is greatest console of all time for me, because for that very reason, the catalog is huge. The backwards compatibility is unparalleled to this day. And it's such a huge catalog. So I will not say PS2 because Jeff said PS2. I'll try and come up with something else. Panic, do you know what you would go with?
As much as I would love to say the PS2, I just have too much nostalgia love for the SNES.
Yeah, I love that choice, dude. If it's the rest of my
It's
life,
like a
I
toss up
just
between the
can't
two.
pick
I'd
it.
be happy with either of them. Like I wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
I will do the one that nobody would ever pick in the history of ever. Because I would assume that I would only end up playing like 5 games.
Dude, if you say the original Xbox, this is
That's
done.
what I'm saying.
You're just gonna play Fable, aren't you? Fable all day.
Oh, he's gonna play fucking
I'm gonna
Morrowind
play
all day.
I'm gonna play Morrowind. I mean, half my life will be loading times.
Project
This is
Gotham Racing.
Project Gotham Racing, Jet Set Radio, Future,
Halo 2.
and Halo and Halo 2 would be like sure, done. Great. And a handful of other titles that were there that weren't like God tier titles, but they were titles nevertheless. that I enjoyed. Shit, even Myst is on Xbox, bro. I can play Myst
It
again
is,
on
and I own it.
Xbox.
Yeah, I have it.
So
a bunch of
I'll
a bunch
go,
of different Mysts are on Xbox. There's one called Revelation.
Revelations 4.
Yeah, they've got the regular Myst. Yeah, there's all kinds of those types of games. So
Yeah,
I still think it's a shitty pick, but you're just doing it out of spite. So we all know
well,
you
not out of
PS2.
spite. I mean, ultimately, yeah, like it'd be hard to not say PS2, but you know, there are a lot of games in my top 10 that are on the original Xbox. So why not? Why not take original Xbox? What was the other question that you were having a hard time picking between?
Yeah, we'll do this one quick. Where is it? Shit, man. Okay, it was basically I want to get the name because I want to give him a shout out. Basically, somebody said,
I have all the names in front of me.
Yeah, somebody said, is there you said that there's perfect movies out there, and
oh yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, like what is your what is
a perfect movie?
What is your perfect movie? You know,
I think I know what.
That's from Joe Racicott. He's a $10 pledge.
Joe,
I think I know Jeff's perfect movie.
Joe Racicott.
I see it now.
I'm sorry if I butchered your name.
Yeah, my apologies. He said something Jeff said from last podcast. What is the perfect movie? And for all of you, which film is that is already out that has come closest to being the perfect movie? So he's basically asking us, is there such thing as a perfect movie in your eyes? And if so, what is that perfect movie? If you can think of one.
I think I know Jeff's.
I know mine. I have my reasoning behind it too.
Well, go ahead.
Yep. So for me, the perfect movie is not like it's just structurally. There's some things like a movie should have, especially on like the story, like how they intro the story, how the conflict and like the whole story and the screenplay is written. That's like a big part of it. Like how they reveal the characters, how the characters develop, and then ultimately the payout at the end. In addition to the cinematography and all that other stuff. I don't personally believe that there is actually a perfect movie out there. I don't think there ever will be, but the closest one so far, even after all these years, I'm going to say is Shawshank Redemption.
That's
because, because again, cinematography wise, every shot had its importance and the way it was set up. The storyline had its beginning, it had the build up, it had the characterization, it had your payoff at the end, and it played to all the points of what a screenplay kind of should have. And the big thing is it's timeless. Like there's a reason they show it on TV all holiday seasons, all the time. And it's still a satisfying movie to watch even for the 40th time.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a perfect movie. I can't think of something that is wrong with the film. I mean, I'm not a film critic, and obviously film, music, everything is subjective. But seeing as though it is one of the highest rated movies of all time, the fact that you said they do play it a lot. Who doesn't like a good prison movie? Like, who just doesn't like a good prison movie? It's the best prison movie ever made. It's, in my opinion, it's the greatest movie ever made.
It's one of the greatest movies, yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely in the top 3 of greatest movies ever made. And I think that's not even subjectively. I think that's objectively.
It's hard to quantify why, but it's just like everything in that movie hit kind of perfectly where it needed to hit.
It's the development of the characters in it. It's the real the
casting,
realness,
everything.
the heart to it. The acting was just so well done. Everybody was relatable, and they didn't glorify prison. It was there's something innocent about it, but so real and tragic yet happy. It's that movie that just makes you feel good, but makes you feel sad, and makes you care about people.
It's a long-ass movie, but you don't feel like you've wasted any time at the end of it.
Yeah, it's just so good. I'm right with you. Shawshank, we're both done. That's it. I mean, I could talk about Shawshank I've seen it so many times.
Yeah, you can have another podcast.
I think Shawshank is I agree. Shawshank's probably one of the greatest movies ever made. I am the furthest thing from a movie critic. I can, if something is particularly bad or particularly amazing that it stands out to me. The middle ground stuff all blends together in terms of cinematography and stuff. I'm not somebody who's going to sit there and pick apart a fucking thing and say, this scene didn't need to be here, this was superfluous, it was just, so yeah, I agree though that Shawshank, for example, it stands out because even to somebody like myself, everything had its place. It was there for, a reason, and it flowed, and even in its length, it didn't feel like a long movie because everything had its place, and it flowed so well, and the characters were built properly, and so on and so forth. For me, when I think of perfect movies, I think of it more of on a subjective thing. What's a perfect movie for me? What does a perfect movie? What does a movie have to do where, or not necessarily what does a movie have to do, but what movies feel like to me that I can go back to them and watch them at any point in time, because what more can you ask from a movie, personally, not from a technical standpoint necessarily, but what more can you ask from a movie personally if it's something that you can go back to and watch almost any day of the week, 5 or 6 times in a week, it doesn't seem to matter, the movie is you like it that fucking much. That's, what I look when I think of what's a perfect movie. And I think everybody has a handful of movies, whether they are good or bad movies. It doesn't seem, I don't think that matters. But those movies that you can go back to and watch 1,000 times, like Jeff's, Dusk Till Dawn or whatever, you could probably watch 7 days a week and probably never get tired of fucking watching that movie.
Home Alone. I can watch
Home Alone.
All the time.
Exactly.
Never hate
I think
it.
everybody's got those movies. For me, I have a handful of them, but what I think was actually just a really good movie in general, and I think of also movies that I recommend to people that are movies that anyone can watch and get something out of it. Good Will Hunting is on my short list for movies that I always tell people about. Is it a Shawshank Redemption? No, but it's a fucking good movie. It's similar to Shawshank. There isn't a lot of frivolous shit in that movie in terms of scenes that didn't need to necessarily be there. You could maybe pick out 1 or 2 small 2-minute long scenes that could have been cut out, but it's a pretty well-made movie. And just like with Shawshank, like Jeff was saying, where it's relatable, people are relatable, the character development's really good. It makes you care for people. It's a character-driven
film. That's what it is,
exactly.
Right? You care about the characters.
It's just a really fucking good movie, and there are not a lot of movies
also for me.
that give you a serious feels train, or give me a serious feels train. And I know it's poked fun of a lot on the internet, but it's not your fault scene, if you take the joke of the internet out of it, is a goddamn fucking awesome scene. That is a really good piece of film right there, and it comes from it's Rob Williams, who you don't necessarily always automatically associate with dramatic acting, and here he is in this movie, and I think it's one of his best movies, if not his best movie in a dramatic role, killing it. And then another scene in the opposite direction where they're sitting there joking about Rob Williams in this movie, his character's dead wife, and where Rob Williams goes and ad-libs that story, and you get the genuine laughter from Matt Damon in that scene, and it's just so good, and it's just so natural, and everything felt natural. It felt like I was like watching just somebody's actual life unfolding, and it was fucking awesome. So that's one of my movies that I would go to for that would be Good Will Hunting. Panic, what was the one you just mentioned while I was talking? I didn't hear.
Rounders.
Rounders, yeah.
Which one's that? I know I've never seen it. I've never even heard of it.
Matt
so what
Damon,
is it?
Edward Norton poker movie. I highly recommend you watch it. Actually, it's not a long movie. It's kind of in the vein of like Good Will Hunting. It's like not in the same like style, but it's the same like type of movie. And it's just a very good character movie, I think. And it plays out well. Again, the story and the pacing is good. It's no Shawshank, but it's a very good movie.
Yep.
I feel like you might enjoy it.
It's good, man. It's good. Yeah, so we got three of them in today. Let us know in the comments what your guys' perfect movie is in your eyes. Once again, it's, you know, it is subjective. So, you know, your perfect movie might be fucking RoboCop 1. I have no idea. But you can explain why in the comment section. It's just always good. And then of course, you know, share the podcast. Go tell a friend. Go tell a friend about this. And go hit up that motherfucking Patreon page. We almost at that 5K.
So close.
Go hit it up.